Youth and children's work could or even should be viewed as disciple making. As we work with children and young people, we want to have a holistic care for them, caring for their emotional, physical, mental health, as well as their spiritual life. We want to have a care for the whole person, but a key question is, what are we inviting people into as we do this work spiritually? Ultimately, Jesus called people to be his disciples, to follow him, to be like him, and to get to know him. And we are primarily seeking to equip children, young people, and their families to be disciples, those that are following Jesus every day of their lives, seeking to think and act and respond like Jesus, and to be growing in relationship and love of him. We're not seeking converts alone, although for some there might be a significant moment of choosing to follow, as there was with the first disciples. The key, though, is investing in lifelong journeys of discipleship. Coming back to the phrase disciples making disciples, let's break that down a little bit. Firstly, we are disciples ourselves. We never stop learning, growing, and following. We make mistakes and can't ever think that we've made it. This means that as we seek to lead children and young people, we're recognizing firstly that we're learning too. We don't try and have all the answers or pretend that everything is perfect all the time. We need to be teachable and ready to learn ourselves. A key question to ask here is that we invite children and young people to be disciples as we are being discipled ourselves too. I wonder, do we have people who are encouraging, challenging, mentoring us as disciples? That might be something for you to explore if you don't already have that yourself. Secondly, disciples making. We want to be making disciples, little Jesuses, not coercing, not forcing, but gently offering, as Jesus did, the simple invitation of follow me or follow him. We want to help children and young people to explore their own faith, to be curious and asking questions and being eager to learn and develop and own their own faith. We aren't just running activities for children and young people, but we want to be all about disciple making and everything being put through that lens. Finally, disciples making disciples. We want to be making disciples as leaders as our goal, but we also want to be making disciples who make disciples who make disciples. We want to hand on the baton of faith to the next generation, but at the same time, equipping them to make disciples themselves, to encourage from the beginning children and young people to see how they can be inviting their friends and their peers to be following Jesus too. To be exploring if there are children at church that perhaps young people could be encouraging, praying for, coming alongside to encourage them in their discipleship. Perhaps mini mentors where young people who can encourage children in the church on Sunday mornings or help with the kids' work or help lead in that context. A friend of swim called Matt Summerfield wrote a book a few years ago called Live Life 123. Where he encouraged everyone to consider having one person who's encouraging, challenging, mentoring, discipling you. 2 people who you walk alongside, friends along the way. And 3 people that we're intentionally discipling to encourage them as disciples of Jesus. Maybe as a result of watching this video, you might want to consider the following 3 questions. Firstly, do you have someone who's investing intentionally in your own discipleship to help you to be growing? If not, who could that be? Secondly, do you have a lens of disciple making in your youth, children's and families ministry? What might need to change to make this a focal point? And thirdly, how could you be practically equipping children and young people to not just be disciples, but to be disciples making disciples?